He told me that anyone who breaks up with him dies. I laughed so hard about it. He was known to be a hilarious dude. However, after we broke up, I realized that my life was in danger. I met Williams that day at the minibar down the street. I had gone there to get my favorite locally prepared Nkwobi cow leg after a very stressful day at work. He was at the far end of the bar, the part that was dimly lit. You could hardly see that a human was coiled up there. Williams had a bottle of alcohol on the table. He barely took a sip, though, because he was so lost and disturbed. And me, I was the head of a non-governmental organization that helped people who might be going through a phase of depression. A part of me made to swirl around and head back home, but I couldn't ignore the force that pulled me over to him. "I can give you an ear if you wish," I had said to him, drawing out a seat and sinking into it, even if he gave me a weird stare that would have chased me away. "She was everything I had, but she died," he had said to me amidst silent sobs. I saw a man in pain, a young man in need of company, and someone who had just suffered the loss of a lover. "I'm so sorry about that. I will help you get over this phase," I had said and collected his number. The plan was to help him and ensure his peace of mind and stability. But then, as the months passed, I found myself getting addicted to being around him. I've had conversations with hundreds of people, helped them to scale through tough times and made them see light in life. But never did I fall for any, except Williams. I tried to bury the feelings, but with each day that passed, it grew. Williams felt the same too, and from nursing the pain that came from the demise of his partner, he embraced the love we shared. "Don't fight it. You love me and I love you too." "I know you do," he had said to me one night in his room. I couldn't even fight it, and so I allowed it to flow. He was a loving man, understanding and caring. The perfect way to describe how he treated me is like an egg. Williams would go to my apartment when I'm at work, prepare a meal, do my laundry, and give me a thorough massage once I'm back. Of course, I was okay with all of these, but I had a problem. He had no job and wasn't making any attempt to get one. Ever since we got together, we made use of my money, and even if I promised that it was not a problem at first, I knew it was. Deep down, I was pained by how he frequently asked for money, as though he worked with me for it. "You should find something to do," I had said that night, and for the first time, he wore a frown and flared up. "Are you threatening me?" he had asked, completely taking me aback by his outburst. I cleared my throat and stood up, ready to dish out my mind to him, since he wasn't willing to be matured about it. "If you think it is a threat, so be it. I'm at a point where I'm thinking of my life. Our future. I've never dreamt of having a future where my man would be dependent on me," I declared, staring into his eyes fiercely and making him realize that I meant every single word I just uttered. "You can't break up with me. You can't." Logically, he started laughing hysterically, holding his stomach as if I've just cracked a joke. "Hell yes, I can break up with you, and I would do it." I wanted to tell him that I would do it now, but his next words made me stop in my tracks. "If you break up with me, you will die." He dropped, and for a minute, I thought that I've just heard wrongly. "What do you mean by that?" I asked, with a shaky breath since I wasn't expecting anything close to what he just said. He started laughing, and I joined in too, and just like that, the matter ended. We got back together and pretended as though we didn't have a fight. A week later, he got a phone call from a friend of his. "Martin is dead," the person on the other end of the call had said. I knew Martin. He was part of Williams' circle, and most times they went out together to hang out as friends. Right there by the door, I froze and strained my ears to be sure that I've just heard correctly. Williams ended the call and let out a deep sigh. I saw a drop of tears in his eyes, but he wiped it off almost immediately. "Sometimes I'm even scared of myself. If you get me angry, you will die," he said to me that night as we were cuddled up on the bed. A feeling of dread crept from the pit of my stomach as I looked into his eyes. For the first time, it dawned on me that he was dead serious about what he just said. "What do you mean by that?" I had asked, breathing heavily and wiping off the sweats that scattered across my face. "It's a long story, but I would advise that you don't get me angry. I have no control of what happens after that," he concluded and closed his eyes. It still looked like a dream, a joke, or some sort of prank. The next morning, I wanted to confirm my intuition, and so I asked him about his girlfriend that died some time ago. Did she get you angry? I asked, trying to be calm. Yes, she did. I warned her, though, but she didn't believe, Williams explained as he pulled me into a warm embrace. If you leave me, I will get mad at you. That is the one thing you would do to trigger my rage. So don't leave me, he whispered into my ears, playing with my earlobes and laughing slightly. I made to talk, but nothing came off my mouth. I was scared to my bones and my body turned cold. Who did I fall in love with? It was hard to confide in anyone. My friends laughed when I told them, after which they told me that he is only trying to scare me because he doesn't want to lose me. Somehow I believed that. I mean, why would die because I broke up with my boyfriend? And so that very morning, I sat on my desk and brought out my phone to scribble down the best breakup message I could come up with. The minute I sent it, I took in a deep breath of relief. But that didn't last long, because the events that happened afterwards showed me that he was right when he said that I would die if I leave him. I had an accident that same morning, barely 1 hour after I sent him the breakup text message. It happened like a dream, within seconds and like a flash. Next, I saw myself on the hard ground of the road, unable to move or say a word. I knew I heard screams from people, but the last thing I saw was William's face. How was he at the accident scene? When I woke up, I was told that I'd been in coma since the past 1 month, and at a point, it was looking as if I would die. I was shocked that I couldn't utter a word. All I could do was cry out of sorrow and joy. I was pained that what William said might have been true, but I was happy that I survived the phase most of the people who got him angry didn't, or so I thought. Where is Williams? I asked my friend, sniffing hard and wiping tears off my eyes. He's been coming here frequently. Even he was here earlier today to check on you, she explained, and immediately my heart flew out of my chest. What was he doing here? I asked, almost screaming, but taking in a sharp breath, since I still felt some pains on my chest. He is your boyfriend, she replied, wearing a puzzled expression. He brought you to the hospital after the accident. If he didn't bring you here on time, you could have... Swing, she trailed off and took in a deep breath. I'm just glad that you are alive, she smiled and caressed my hands. You don't understand nothing. You have no idea of what's going on here. Williams is evil, I screamed, digging my hands into my head since I was beginning to get frustrated. Is it because of what he said? About you dying if you get him angry? My friend asked. Yes. It's true. I broke up with him that morning and had an accident that same day. Tell me that it's not making sense, I spewed, and for the next seconds, we turned cold and stared at each other. She stood up after a while and left, not without promising to look into the situation and discover the truth. I was restless all through the day. Why was Williams around, even if I'd broken up with him? I was hardly an hour into my nap when I felt a warm breath on my face. My eyes shot open and met Williams, staring at me as if his life depends on it. What are you doing here? I screamed, breathing heavily and looking at the clock that read 10 p.m. I heard you woke up today. I came to say hi and to tell you that I miss you, he said and cupped my cheeks into his hands. I froze in fear and screamed until the doctors came around. I don't want to see him around me. Take him away, I kept yelling until they eventually took Williams away from the room. After some weeks, I was stable and discharged from the hospital. Williams obeyed the hospital's command and stayed away from me. My friend also told me that there was nothing guilty about Williams because he wasn't in any way involved with the vehicle that collided with me. I wasn't convinced, though. The next 1 week rolled by without many events. I was getting better and in a mood of thanksgiving since I survived something that would have claimed my life. That afternoon, I got a text message from Williams. You are still my girl. Don't think of breaking up with me again or getting me mad. I froze and shivered, almost running out of breath on the spot. It was not a joke because he visited that afternoon with a small gift package. Welcome back home from the hospital, my love, he said. I was weak at this point. I couldn't even raise my voice at him because I had no idea of what I was dealing with. My friends advised me to break up with him again since I don't want him anymore. After summoning up courage, we planned a date and met at a park. Love starts and love ends. Relationship blooms and withers too. It's not a do-or-die affair, I explained to him, with the softest voice I could find. I wanted to end things with him on a good note. without having a fight or getting him enraged. I want us to end things on a good note. You don't have to get mad at me because I did you no bad, I said in finality, staring at Williams, whose face was already becoming red. He hissed aloud and walked away, not saying a single word to me. That same night, I was in the kitchen cooking when my long wig got into the fire. I have no idea of how that happened, but all I knew was that my hair was on fire. The fire escalated in no time and gave me severe burns on areas of my back and neck. I was thankful, though, that my head was safe since I took off the wig before it got to my head area. I tried to report to the police, but there was no way to find him guilty. The accident was not him. The fire accident in my house had no link to him. I was even the one getting blamed for being careless. I don't know why I got so lucky to avoid death countless times, but it kept happening. Another time, I went to the beach and almost drowned, but got saved in time. On and on the misfortunes in my life became unending, and I decided to do things my way. It was clear that Williams was right when he said that I would die if I break up with him. Mine was only taking time, but I could feel death so close. I visited him that day, so early in the morning. My heart was heavy, and I was beginning to get depressed, even if I helped people in that circle. "Tell me what we can do. I'm tired and I don't want to die," I pleaded with him, tears rolling out of my eyes. "Nothing. This is how life has been for me. You can't break my heart and live, even if I love you. It's mysterious, and I can't do anything about it," he said, and for the first time I saw sincerity in his eyes. "You shouldn't have broken up with me," he said with a solemn voice as a drop of tears fell from his eyes. "We can get back together, and I will forgive you. But if we don't, I will remain mad at you," he said with a soft voice that had a glint of threat in it. Get back together with him? Williams had no vision, and being with him forever would be the end of my life. How was I even supposed to live with a mysterious, evil human that calls for death upon whosoever it is that gets him angry? "I can't be with you," I said again, standing on my words and staring into his eyes. "Then Lem's sorry if you end up like the others. It's not my fault. I loved you so much," he dropped. A small smile crept on my face as I dipped my hands into my pocket and brought out a knife. "You will be the one ending up like them," I screamed and stabbed his neck. Everything was quiet at first, and then I saw blood and a lifeless Williams. He was dead. I killed him. I don't know if I would live or die, but I'm breathing right now and I don't regret taking Williams out of Earth. If he remained alive, many people would die once they get him angry. That is a puzzle that can never be solved by anyone. But then it's real, so real. End.